Welcome to HES Talks. Today's conversation continues our series Spirituality and Education, where we answer your questions. And I would like to start this conversation with some ideas, sharing some ideas and thoughts that holistic education system we are creating, and actually the innovative education nowadays asks questions not about how to improve results of the students or how to make them toppers or achievers. It's about rehumanizing education. It's about asking how to open humans in the learners. So this is important question because actually it shifts the whole perspective of educational ecosystem, development of educational ecosystem. Because what I personally feel that we know how to solve equations, but we don't know how to find meaning. We start teaching children for competitions, but they don't understand actually who they are. So we need to start rethinking how we can organize educational environment where children can be present as human beings first of all, their presence, their nature. This is, the background of our talk today. And today we are here with Kamal Mangal, the founder of Anand Niketan group of schools, and Kanika, Agrawal. She will be moderating our session, so mentioning your questions. But my request initially, what I found when I have gone through the comments, please next time mention your name so that we can announce. Otherwise, I think it will be just announcing the questions, but not the names, so that it can be more personalized. So, Kamal, will you please just say a few words so that we can start, and then Kanika will start with the questions.
The very question of spirituality, and spirituality is a wider word which up to today we are human not clear what it is really. So we maybe focus on this term spirituality in education. So we are trying to here to understand this thing.
Okay, so we had many good questions, but for this conversation, I will break them down into 3 to 4, which are like a consolidation of all the questions that we received. And the first, and the one that I think our viewers will most relate with, is how is spirituality different from religion in a learning environment?
Yes.
Especially in our country, these two words are interchangeably used, but when we talk about spirituality, how is it different in a learning environment in schools from religion?
Okay, if I would start so that for me, spirituality and religiosity they are different things. Sometimes they can just be the same. So, but most of the time, when we speak about the educational environment, spirituality is not about rituals. It's not about beliefs that you need to teach. It's not about steps you need to follow to achieve some kind of spiritual merits or whatever to gain. Spirituality is the space where you can find yourself, you can create meaning, you can connect things in your life and make, first of all, it starts with awareness and presence. And when you just see yourself in this life, you can just connect your steps and create meaning which is bigger, actually, at least one step bigger than your current life, so that you can just see your life as a whole. That's why for the holistic education system and spirituality, it means that bringing everything into the whole picture. Meaning creation, this is very important. And through this meaning creation, finding who you are as a personality. As Carl Jung said that we need to go for creating our own understanding who we are, taking into this consideration all different points, questions, doubts, whatever
but they have bigger meaning in your life. It's not that you see, I clear everything, everything is clear. In religions, everything is clear because it is prescribed, it is done. So a frame is given, you need to follow. Spirituality is something, and this is the open path where your personal meaning making as creativity, because in our reels I mentioned creativity, this is how you can express this spirituality, because it brings together everything. It focuses all the things together.
In my point of view, that in the edges of the human, we want to know who am I. All religions developed to know that. The primary purpose of the religions was to a systemic way can we find ourselves. So religion is a path to get that answer. But unfortunately, so many religions, they feel they are separate.
Yeah.
So that was starting the perception of the very religious aim is lost. And we find that who am I today? And today also this question remains unsolved, unclear to all of us. Thanks to the Maharaj who given the clear answer to am I, what purpose. The spirituality, I think, to find the purpose of the life, to know if I know myself, then I can do better what I want to do. Or what I want to do is what the purpose of certain nature of human to being human on earth. Not the purpose of to become a doctor, to become a leader, or to become a dancer. That is the work we have to do all. But purpose is bigger. The education should be, if education institute can give the purpose to life and help the children to know themselves, because that journey can't be, you can learn from me. It's journey that I should find my educational classes. And so I think this religion is different. The spirituality we are talking in this is very different.
So when I was listening to the both of you, 2 points came up for me. One was how religion is organized understanding accumulated through ages. However, imagine making a house where the door is a weird shape and the human has to contort themselves in order to enter. That is how we're trying to fit in to this structure right now. Whatever religion is, it's a structure and all the humans are trying to bend them in weird ways, right? In order to fit in. That's how strange it is. So when you talk about space, when you find out who you are, right?
As Kanika, you asking what is the difference between the spirituality and religions? I think this spirituality is very clear that the purpose of the universe, to know that. For that knowing, I have to know who am I. If I know who am I, that is a spirituality to go ahead. From ages, we know the human want to find the who am I. So a lot of religions develop for that purpose. The path. On that path of that system can we find ourselves. The Atma word has come. Lot of darshan has come to define self. Who am I? But until today, we can say a lot of confusion and lot of differences to say who am I. So in education, this is a purpose. If we can find the very purpose of ourselves, that I think so.
Something very interesting came up for me. So that when you were speaking, I realized that answering this very prominent question of who am I, it's almost like an amalgamation of art and science. Science is us going with an inquiry mind, collecting and passing down knowledge through generations to have greater understanding. And in that way, we have developed some understanding of what is the purpose of a tree, of an animal, of these non-living elements in an ecosystem. And art is something that is so personal that one has to experience it for themselves in order to understand. There is no other way of receiving this understanding from another person. So the answer, or the spirituality aspect, is both knowledge and science and art.
But what I feel, just to add to that point, actually, you see, religions, they give ready-made answers. And they look like very, very similar to what the education does right now. We feed our students with ready-made answers, and we skip that the most important part, inquiry, exploring, finding meaning. Perhaps the meaning can be different. But you see, for me, if just to speak about religions, they give ready-made answers. This is who you are, this is what is your past. Spirituality is when a person finds his own way through the chaos, connecting things and bringing personal meaning. That's where personal component is very important, because it comes through creativity. That's why this art came, right? So that you see, spirituality, we can speak about spirituality and education, where we provide space for this kind of exploration and finding your own language and your own meaning. It can be within any religion. Absolutely fine. If a person can find his or her own language and own personal meaning, it can become spirituality. It cannot, be linked with religions for me. Absolutely fine. So spiritual path, it's always about moving. It's always about questioning. It's always about seeing the horizon. Sometimes religions, they don't give us this horizon, what I personally feel.
No, so this actually, and because it connects to the next question as well. So religion is an attempt, albeit a poor attempt, at teaching spirituality, right?
Yeah.
Can it really be taught? In its true sense, the one that you're talking about self-inquiry, about the child becoming more and more aware of themselves as consciousness, as something that perceives and creates. Is it even possible to teach spirituality in that sense? Because religions have tried and failed. Or can it only be lived? That was
Okay, Kamalji, can it be taught, spirituality?
If I reach Bombay, I can guide you. This is Bombay. If I not reach Bombay, how I can guide to you? How I can teach about Bombay? So, since ages, some saint find that self, to know self, and they guide. They thought this way you can achieve that self attained. Buddha tried. Lot of other saints tried. But I am sure that if we can find the laws of the nature by observing, by experiencing, we find the law of the gravity, suppose. Now for gravity, we don't want the science to be same journey I have to do. So I can take help and ahead go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is humanity. Lot of Vivekananda or J. Krishnamurti, whatever they gave lot of sign in that meditation, whatever they did the sadhana. So we have to take benefit of that sadhana, but not to bind ourselves to the person or some religions. We have to really think and find that what is the purpose even to know us.
Yes.
So
Yes.
to know, so we can do better act if we know our dharma. So we can do better to humanity. At present, we have seen the crisis in the humanity. The wars increasing, the educated person, the scholar person helping in the war. So big countries, even today, they are fighting for very without any reason even. So
Because what I feel, Kamalji, and I really every time I you see feel that education is responsible for that, because we were not taught to create meaning. We wanted to have answers from, and we all went through this system where we will just result oriented. It means that ready-made correct answers, and we can't see the reality, which is much more.
yes, education is confusing because the very limited purpose we are giving education.
Yes, it's
To
not about
live,
purpose, it's about
to
meaning.
live the bodily we can survive. Education meaning, because after the industrial, after this industrialization of the education even, so we giving the same education, same book content to everyone.
Yeah.
So that is limit to thinking even.
But even if the content were to change, it would not serve the purpose. If I start teaching Gita in my class instead of how to earn money, it will still not serve the purpose, because the person teaching the Gita or the person teaching Vivekananda is not Vivekananda. The person who's explaining the path has not walked the path themselves. They've never been to Mumbai themselves.
Yeah.
The child can start and explore the path on their own, and somebody has gone there. But this teacher who's teaching has neither walked.
Our teaching
Right.
should be openness and the correct, as I feel, after this Nagraji darshan I got, that we say in a classroom, you are girl, you are boy. Instead of we can say, your body is a girl body. You are not Hindu or Muslim, you live in Hindu family. You are not vegetarian, non-veg, eat veg. So myself and my body,
But this continues to be conditioning, not awareness.
yeah. We have to start somewhere to very child that you are a different soul or spirit or life, and your body is for me to use for bigger purpose. So that is now has to come in the education.
What I feel, if I can add, because the question was whether spirituality can be taught, and actually we are moving to this direction, is it how we can teach that? As for me, spirituality starts, first of all, with not teaching. This is my different approach. It's not teaching. First of all, it's just inviting the presence of students as human beings, with all complexities, with all beautiful things, with all openness that requires. Just imagine, to invite presence from where awareness will start.
That
It requires this open environment,
so we not
non-conditioned. This
not
is
to close
important.
the child. You
Yeah.
are this, you are this, you are this. So openness, when we start, then we identify that the human being is the AI life itself, and they itself has a curious and itself has a lot of questions. So we have to give an environment where they can express themselves, and they can guided in a different way to self.
This word guided brings me to another question that came up, and this is such a huge inner programming that we all have as educators. Mistakes, right? So one, we're talking about them bringing everything of what they are, putting it out in the open, and then seeing and understanding and making sense of themselves by themselves in the presence of others doing the same, right? A spiritual learning environment. On the other hand, the teacher is so calibrated to say correct, wrong, correct, wrong. She feels that's her entire purpose.
Because the whole education system was built on results that are already given. All answers are already given. You need just to remember that. This is, very, simplified, but actually this is what education was. That's why we want this question, why we raise this question. Spirituality, where we can speak that, you see, it's not about the answers, it's about the way how you go through all the questions and find your own answer that has meaning. This is what spirituality is. You need to create this meaning for yourself, connecting all the, even if mistakes, you need to understand first of all by yourself whether it is mistake or something, just one step towards your own, finding your own answer.
And they need to know, everybody needs to know this meaning is a felt sense. It is not a common
felt. This is important part because you see, how to, I would just, add up because you see, spirituality is not something that is, I would say, kind of separate subject or whatever, and scientific is different. Art, science, math, all the subjects. It is not, spirituality is not something extra as another subject. It's this space where we give this space to feel. Even science, you need to feel, to experience. That's why we start experiential learning. Connecting these practical steps. Okay, you speak a lot. Okay, openness. Welcoming as a human being, all these things. But how it happens? It happens that we give children to be themselves and experience life as it is, in dynamic, in movement. We give these horizons where they can explore. This is a very important point in new education, that we need to create this kind of dynamic spaces, open spaces, where it will have sense, where they can create meaning, where they can move, transform, self-transforming, moving, understanding where am I heading, who I am in this movement, not just static, and giving the answers to the questions. This is important.
Since we're talking about a new movement, a radical shift in education, in what happens in the class, and that kind of in what the teacher and children engage in, it brings us to the next question, which I personally feel is a very serious concern as well, which is, how can you connect to this invisible rhythm, to this sense, very personal, in a chaotic, practical and unforgiving world?
Kamalji, how spirituality can guide us in this chaotic world?
I feel ki the child or the human suffering lot now. When we suffer, we find another way to live. Whatever we lead in Bhogvad or Adashvad, both is not give solution to the humanity. So now, because of the power of the human is very unpredictable, so I think we will find the way to the right path, which is humanity.
I also feel that there's a lot of fear, especially in education system, in classrooms, with teachers. I've seen other fields. So, for example, I have lived with farmers. There is so much more freedom, natural farming, permaculture, all that. There's so much more freedom in expression, but in education, I don't know why there is such fear. And I bring this up because this fear is like a heavy weight.
Because
On this free exploration, on all of this
fear,
expanding, coming to life.
my grandson is no fear and no greed. But the system is based on the fear and greed.
Yes, this is what
So-
we are talking
System,
about.
parents, teachers.
So why is the system fear and greed? Because we want to achieve something
Yes, result oriented.
physically in comparison,
Yes,
not the I want something
And
for
in
me.
comparison, because we believe the other person is happy. We
Then-
believe it.
Then reality is also, we know that happiness and success is not go together. So,
Do we really know it?
because of fear and greed. So when we understand that this fear and greed brings depressions, brings us non-human activities, so we will change.
Kamaji, Gautam Buddha said, the moment you realize you're holding onto a burning coal, you will drop it. I don't think so. This realization is really hitting as it should.
When right knowledge come, we can do. A right knowledge now in Agrawal, again I can quoting. He brings that to thousands of people have now realizing the purpose of life and doing that type of, because we feeling that your aim is my aim is different. When purpose of the all aim altogether is same, the all humans purpose is same, then we can increase apnepan ka vistar. Then he-
Sense of
totally-
belongingness.
again my whole character will change when this understanding will come.
But can I just add to the question about this chaos, how to go through? Actually, you see, chaos is inevitable. This is a natural part. This is an environment where we are put, what I really believe, that to make our own connections and to go through this chaos without losing your own rhythm. That's why this dynamic approach in HES is a very strong one. It will be always. All universe is just brought from chaos and will dissolve in chaos. But your part as human being is to make meaning, to connect everything around you and to move in your own direction. This is very important part. With your reason, with your understanding. That's why when we speak about that kind of open system, which is not result-oriented, it is dynamic-oriented. So that you see, and understanding, not even awareness, this is the first step. So that where we understand how we move, we analyze, we reflect. And just to bring a little bit closer to practical, I would say, part where we understand how it might happen in schools, because this is the question, right? It's not about just talking, but make it bring, into reality of our education reality. So that reflections, it is important. Important to give the horizon, important to give space, important to give quiet moments and silences, important to allow mistakes, which are not mistakes, they are just parts of your growth. And reflections, they are a very important part, because school does not give us these basic skills. We speak about some very, I would say, higher levels of spirituality, but if to start from the beginning, allow a child be yourself, allow to make mistakes and reflect on that, allow to explain in your own language or own speed, own space, own way. This is how we can create this very organic space where children breathe, where children feel their life, where all learning, it contributes to their life as not just pages of the textbooks, but their real lives.
It's possible when we decide that the purpose is not education to pass the university,
yes,
but the purpose of it is to know self.
Yes, this is absolutely,
this
strong
to be
point.
shifted. And even that, by knowing, he will secure all bodily need also.
Yes.
In my life, when I know I and my body is separate, both need is separate. My body need is roti, kapda, makan, mobile, gadi. But my need was to continuous happiness. When I realized this, then my all fear went, because my body needs are completed. Now purpose of life is to bigger purpose. Yeah. So I started in that direction to my life is day by day getting happy, and I connecting the people differently. When I remove my greed of to reaching someone's ahead, then it started. So this truth we can teach every child in the school.
And the educators can understand moving the folks and parents as well from result to emergence of meaning.
So in our school type of where the fees is high and most of parents are the affluent family and millionaire billionaires, where they can not leave the very purpose of to increase upon zero in their capitals, but to know self. So we can do this, and we are sufferer. We are feeling that our next generation is spoiling themselves. Gen Z. So this fact, if we understood, really, as an educator, as a school management, then we can guide better to our children to find themselves and give space to develop their inner self, without marks and without comparison.
I really like the part you said about how chaos will always be there, because I think this question, it keeps coming up. It just wouldn't stay silent. So we make efforts, but very quickly we give up thinking, oh, it's not working out. It happens when we do it for ourselves. It happens when we're doing it with children in the class. So just this very simple acceptance, yes, chaos is reality. And I'm
Yes,
still
it's
continuing to
inevitable,
move step by
inevitable, you
step.
see, yes.
We will get there.
So, okay, just, as now the time is over, but I would like to, just because it's just continuation of this last idea, that how I start teacher training, and this is actually our approach, that I explain to the teachers a very simple truth, that right now we are shifting the focus of your attention. It's not now, you should not just be with the textbook and turning the pages of the textbook. You need to be with the students. So this is a very important shift an education system needs to do. And also it's also important about the parents, so that parents can also just, you see, welcome their children. They should not expect that my child needs to just repeat the same line in the textbook. What I feel, that what I expect from the parents, so that they can just come and say that through this kind of learning, my child opened up as who he is in a different manner. It's an amazing, beautiful manner. When parents start also accepting their children as different, not coming and say, I want my child be the same as this boy or girl who answers like, I would say here, 100, and my child is 70. I want him to be 100 as this child. Sorry, my dear parents, accept your children, accept their uniqueness.
We can accept as a parent when I accept, but when I know the bigger purpose of life.
Yes.
If I don't know bigger purpose,
Yeah.
that is the purpose, but then I have to comparison.
Yes, this is what you were mentioning, that you see, we always compare, we always unsatisfied with what we have, but actually you're right, we already have everything what we need. So that we need to accept that, and we need to enjoy that and unfold that in during the learning
process. I want to share a very positive anecdote. I remember one second grader's parent came to us and very happily shared that my child is going beyond our understanding, and none of us have answers to his questions anymore. He does things that we sometimes don't understand at all, and we're very happy about it. So those are the kind of parents that, that we need more of.
Yes, amazing, because you see, even parents are accepted that they don't follow, but they're kind of happy about that. This is amazing approach and attitude we really need to foster among our parents. So, my dear friends, thank you very much for being with us. I hope we gave you food for your own thinking process, so please share your reflections, perhaps your questions, your insights. You can send to our direct messages, or just follow our reels. So the next series are on the way. So be with us, and thank you. See you.